I remember when I was new to makeup, I thought everything was new, it was alluring and really nice, really weird, really interesting. So I really played a lot with makeup when I was new to it. I loved colors, glitters, especially lipsticks, um, and I just really had a lot of fun playing with it. So I kind of learned as I went and grew with the task. But I wish at that time that I had someone that I could just have asked some questions. Because even though makeup is kind of do it yourself, you can really do what you want, there's no real rules. Then it's still kind of nice to know what to do, and especially if there's something you should not do. Um, and also just concerning all these new trends that come on, what are they even? Like, who can you ask? Now we can ask Google. I guess that's how you came here. But we can ask Google now, but at that point we couldn't really in the same capacity. No one was talking that much about makeup online. And it can just feel really awkward, really humiliating almost to have to ask someone. I myself was too scared to ask others about makeup and makeup questions, so I kind of just kept to myself and learned. But today I have made a list of 25, I'm pretty sure it's 25, questions or thoughts you might have when both starting makeup but also when new trends pop up regarding makeup. So we will look at those today. I will answer them as the best that I can, so that hopefully you will get some of the answers that you have had or still have. So the first question is expensive makeup better than cheap makeup? And to some extent, I would say yes. So cheap makeup can be just as good as expensive makeup, but there are a few things that come into place. So if we look at cheap makeup first, you have to look at the ingredients. For example, the reason, or it could be the reason for the cheap price tag can be the ingredients. So if, for example, you have switched a really good and expensive ingredients out for something cheaper, another alternative, then it can be, the product itself can be cheaper, but the quality can be a bit lower than it would have been, or much lower, really depends on what they switched it up with. Another thing that can explain the cheap price tag is perhaps the way they work with people. So how environmentally friendly are they? How do they treat their workers? If they treat their workers unfairly, don't give them high enough wages, etc., etc., then the low price tag may also be a sign of that. So the reason for expensive makeup to have this price tag can also be the ingredients. So if you use more expensive ingredients, you can easily just take the price tag and just go up, because more expensive ingredients look better. It's just like how you would say you would pay much more for spring water than you would for tap water, and that's just how it is. So they can put the price tag up because of that, but it can also signal the brand value. So, for example, if we look at a brand, it doesn't really matter which one it is, but you could say something like Chanel is a big brand, Anastasia Beverly Hills. You can easily take more money for their products because most people know them. They are familiar with them, and they're like huge brands. So it's easier to end up paying more for products that have these brand names. So you can actually end up just paying for the name you're using. What can you kind of take away from this information that I just gave you? Well, if you really want to know which brand is better, comparing their ingredients, if you think about how they treat the workers, you will have to research. And I would recommend starting with the ingredients because that's kind of the easy one. Of course, there are some ingredients you should stay away from, that, but that's more in in skincare than it is in makeup. So the most important ingredients you have to stay away from in makeup is fragrance. It can also be called perfume or aroma. And this type can be really irritating if you use it, especially for a longer period of time. So I would recommend just just not using it at all, if that's possible for you. But that's really the only real irritating ingredients, and then of course you'll have to stay away if there's something you are allergic to, which makes sense. And then you could perhaps look at the brands. So if you're interested in workers' rights, if you're interested in eco-friendly brands, then you just have to look at the webpage. And I know that can be really hard because of all the greenwashing going on. It can be hard to know if the brands are actually good brands, even though they say it on the webpage. So sometimes you have to just ask Google just a bit if this is actually okay or if there's something wrong with it. And lastly, just you may just keep on trying stuff. That's perhaps the easiest way to find out if you like a product is to just try it out. And of course you can't try every single product out, but you can look at the not the ingredients. I have ingredients on my brain right now, I'm so sorry. But you can look at the reviews on the products, look at how many stars they got, how well did they do. And then if you want to try something out, you can choose what has been used the most or what has been chosen the most, because they are supposedly safe bets. Then you can try something different like that to see if you actually like it. So that could be the safest route to go if you don't really know what to go for. If I only want a few products, which ones should I buy? So if you really only want a few makeup products to use, I would recommend a mascara and a powder. I usually use a pressed powder like as a foundation to make sure my face looks kind of flawless, as good as it can, with minimal effort. And then the mascara will just help your eyes feel more open and alive and more beautiful. If you want something extra, you can choose a concealer. I will usually use this because I have a lot of scarring that I need to cover. But you can also go for a lip balm. Even though that's not actually makeup, it will still help your lips look much better. What brand should I buy makeup from? So this one really differs from person to person because it kind of has something to do with your thoughts and ideas about workers' rights, animal testing, the environment, and ingredients. So it has something to do with all those things, and all brands usually have a take on, if not all of these things, then most of them. And I have written down a few brands here that have some of these things. They are good for some of these things like workers' rights or the environment or animals or whatever it is. I have not tried them, but these are the ones when I am looking for these types of brands that pops up the most. So these are the ones I have written down for you. I have 3. And again, look at the web pages if you don't really understand. Of course, some of it may be greenwashing. So again, research can be needed. But I have just written 3 here for you. The first is RMS Beauty. This is free from toxic chemicals and metals. It is formulated using raw food grade, organic, wild crafted and natural ingredients. So they are as close to their natural state as possible. They are cruelty free, free of parabens, GMOs, synthetic fragrance, nanotalc, sulfate and phthalates. Then we have Ava Beauty, which is vegan, cruelty-free, and uses organic and fair trade ingredients. They are recyclable, and they were actually some of the first to have zero waste eyeshadow palettes where you could recycle everything. And then they are child labor free. Then we got 100% pure, and the ingredients here are 100% pure, which means they do not contain toxic ingredients. They are naturally pigmented and cruelty-free. They do ingredient sourcing to make sure ingredients are not animal sourced, and they partner with charities and are at the moment donating dog food to shelter dogs or trees when you place an order. Are there brands I should stay away from? So, kind of, yes, but I'm not gonna write anything for you here. I know this might be perhaps a bit annoying, but this isn't my forte. So this one also has something to do with ingredients, human rights, animal testing, the environment, and what you think about it. So again, you can look at the web pages, the brand pages for the makeup products to figure out who does what. And again, you kind of have to research on it. I will not write a list on exactly these and these brands because most brands nowadays aren't 100% perfect. There's always something wrong somewhere, and that's simply why I won't write it, but instead I would ask you so kindly to perhaps research on your own if you want some actual brands, if there's a brand you're not sure about. I would recommend you go to YouTube. Well, you are already here, so you might as well. And go look at Gitte Mary Johansson, Shelbysley or Harem. They have content that looks at beauty to some extent and makeup, mostly beauty, but they do look at these brands and what they're actually doing. And they have a lot of great videos on how these products act with the environment, especially. So I will just put them up here. You should be supposed to see what I mean. And I will put the links down below so you can also just go straight to the page. Do ingredients even matter? This is a question I have also asked myself because I felt like, well, it's makeup. Why does it really matter? It just needs to be good. But ingredients really matter both from a formula perspective, like how it applies, how well it holds up, but it also really has something to do with you and your skin. So if you put on irritating ingredients, you will irritate your skin, and it will really not be a fun thing at all. So what ingredients should you stay away from? Well, in very short, they are the next step on the list, so they come here. Are there ingredients I should stay away from? So, as I said before, there are some ingredients it will be a good idea to steer clear of. So, fragrance is one. I said this before, I'm pretty sure. It can also be called perfume or aroma, but that's perhaps the most irritating ingredient that can really aggravate your skin and make it feel not so fun. So, perfume is one. And then just if there's something you are allergic to, you should of course stay away. Makeup isn't as bad here as skincare because it doesn't stay on your skin for that long. It doesn't go into the skin. That's why I say fragrance is perhaps the one you should really stay clear of if you can. What can I do to look like the models? Well, you could start with adding a filter, because most models nowadays are not 100% as they look in reality. Shocker, I know. But that's just how it is. They have lots of tools on apps on computers to just even out wrinkles and skin tone and make everything look just a bit better. So most models nowadays aren't just as they look in the magazine or on the Instagram. So you really have to tweak your body a little bit, I guess, to really look like the models. If you want to get as close as possible in your natural state, you just need to remember to eat well, exercise, take care of your skin, and drink enough water. Do I need to use a primer? And no, you don't need to use a primer if you are already good in your skincare department. A primer is really just an extra luxurious, nice step if you need a little extra for your skin, But in general, if you take really good care of your skin and keep it hydrated and nice and clean, then you don't really need a primer. If you want to know more about primers, I have actually made a video and a post that I will link down below that you can go to about face primer. Why should I use makeup? There are so many reasons for this, and I will just put them up here so you can also see some of the reasons that I personally, to some extent, resonate with. So you should wear makeup because you need a creative outlet, because you like to play, because you feel nice wearing it, because it's a confidence booster. You can wear it because you can, because you finally leave your skin alone when you wear it, because you enjoy spending time on yourself, and because you don't give a crap about what others think about it. There are so many reasons, you just really need to find yours. Why should I not use makeup? This is another one that has many reasons, and I will again put them up here so you can just see them with me. But you should not use it because it can be expensive, because it's unnecessary, because it takes time to learn to do properly. You should stay away because your skin needs a break and you don't care what others think. There are again many reasons to not use makeup. Again, you really just need to find the reason that really resonates with you. What is contour even? So this is not a new phenomenon anymore, but it was at some point, and I think most of us has asked this question at least one time. I think a lot of us perhaps still don't really know what it is, so we kind of just stay away. But contour is a makeup technique that you use to sculpt and add dimension to your face. So you use light and dark colors to sculpt your face to add more dimension to it. If you want to know more about contour, then I have also made a video on this that will be linked down below together with the blog post. Which foundation should I choose? There are a few things that you need to think about when choosing the right foundation. You have to look at the formulation, the coverage, and the color of it. If you want to know if the color fits, you can usually try it out in the stores. So I would recommend you just take it and then make a streak from like your chin, I guess, and down to your neck, because you kind of have to make sure that the color fits both your neck and your face. If you're unsure about which one to take, I would recommend going more for your neck than your face, because it's easier to make your face look like your neck than making your neck look like your face. It's pretty clear to see that the colors don't match if the neck is another completely color. The next step is the formulation. Do you like it wet, dry? How do you want it? That's a thing only you can really figure out. Again, you should be able to try most things out in the store. Perhaps you can even ask for sample size if you don't really know how you feel about it. But you can kind of test out the formulations there and figure out what you like and what you would like to have on your skin all day. The last step is the coverage. You have to figure out if you need a light, medium, or full coverage. The light coverage is really good if you don't have any imperfections that you really need to cover, but if you just need something extra to just smooth out the skin. And the full coverage is really good if you're, for example, doing a full face, or if you like putting makeup and you need something extra, or if you have something that you actually need to cover up. But it really depends on what you like to use, what you would like to use. And if you want some extra information about foundation, I have also made a post and a video about that you can find in the description down below. Should I wear makeup every day? The question I want to ask you is, do you want to? Because if you do, then go for it. It's really up to you how much you want to wear makeup. You just need to remember to take it off at the end of the day, wash your face, moisturize it, and take care of the skin. Then there should be no problems. I would also recommend having a day just once in a while, going makeup free, just to give your face that breather. You could perhaps make a spa day out of it, so you always think about something good when you know you have to not wear makeup. So you could do like a face mask, a manicure, a nice long bath. It's really up to you. but just make that one day where you don't wear makeup also feel really nice. How long does my makeup products last? There is this neat and handy little indication on every product in the form of a open jar that shows you how many months it can keep nice and safe from the moment you open it. So you just have to look at that one and remember when you opened it. Perhaps you need to write it down, then you're really sure on how long it actually does last. But just look at the little open jar on the bottom, and there you can see how long it lasts. What is an eyelash curler and how do I use it? An eyelash curler is a curious product. It has been made so that you can make your eyes, your eyelashes look longer, fuller, and more curled. So you take this metal, often object, and clamp around the eyelashes just a few times. I would recommend like 5 to 10 seconds, 3 places on your eyelash to really make them curl, and it will then hold, hopefully, the rest of the day and give you this nice curl. And I also made a video on this one, so you can see the video about eyelash curlers also in the description down below. Do you really need brushes? The short answer is no. You can really get a lot out of your makeup just with using your fingers and the products or the application tools that comes with your products. So you don't really need anything, but if you would like some, I would recommend having a beauty sponge that can help with making pretty much all of your face look great, and a eyeshadow brush with a blending tool that makes eyeshadow so much easier and more beautiful applied. It can really make a lot of different looks compared to just using your fingers with your eyeshadows. So I would say they are nice things to have, but they are definitely not need to have. If you want to know more about brushes, this is another one that I have also made. You can see it in the description down below. Then I have linked the post and the video for brushes. Do I really need to clean my brushes and sponges? Well, yes. Yes is the short answer. If you don't do it, bacteria will grow and thrive in them, and you will end up just throwing these bacteria around on your face every time you use your brushes or your sponges. So that's not good for the skin. It can cause irritation if they can just grow as they like. You might get irritated skin or break out. It's really not fun if it goes that far, so I would recommend you do remember to clean them at least once in a while. To be on the safe side, I would say once a week, depending on how much you actually use the brushes. What should I do about my impure skin? There are a few different things you can do here. If you have tried exercise, water, good food, then you can move on to the skincare department. There are usually products formulated to help with skin issues, impure skin. So you can go to those and try it. But in the makeup department, which is what we're looking at here, the best thing to do is perhaps just use a concealer to conceal everything the best you can. But if you want some actual help, I would recommend you go to a dermatologist, because they are educated in looking at skin. That's their actual job. So they are supposed to be able to actually look at it and tell you what you need when you need to do. I can of course say do this and do that, but if I can't see your skin, if I can't feel your skin, that I can't really be sure it's going to work. So if you really need some help, go see a dermatologist. They should be able to know what to do. Do I really need to take off my makeup? Yes. This is just like with the brushes. If you don't take it off, bacteria will start to come. These are not the nice bacteria. They will hate on your face. And if you sleep in your makeup, it will end up on your pillow, which means that will also end up just harboring bacteria. So both your face and your pillow will have lots of bacteria if you never wash any of it. So if you want to make sure your face stays clean, you should wash your pillowcase fairly often. And remember to also wash your face, or else these harmful bacteria will come and irritate or aggravate your skin. What should I do about my super dry lips? So there are a few things we can do. First off, if you have super dry lips, try not to expose them too much to the wind, to the sun, to cold weather. Remember to keep them hydrated, keep them moisturized, so have a nice lip balm without fragrance. That will be best for your irritated lips. And then you also have to hydrate from the inside, so remember to drink lots of water, take your vitamins to make sure that your lips have the best conditions to really feel well on. You can also choose to stay away from irritating food, like really salty food, really spicy food, because they may also irritate your already irritated lips. There has also been some speculation about lip scrubs being able to scrub the dead parts of your lip. That is definitely true, but I'm not sure I would recommend it. I have already been looking into lip scrubs. I have also made a video and a post about it that will be linked below, about why I don't really like lip scrubs. So you may go see that too if you're curious. So my camera just died and it had a really hard time charging. So it has been quite a few days since the last 20 points of this video. We will take the last today, right now. But I just wanted to tell you that so you wouldn't wonder why I don't look like I did at that time. Why does my makeup look bad? So it can really take a long time to get used to doing makeup and to become good at doing makeup. Some things in makeup, like learning to make the perfect winged eyeliner or learning how to contour, can take hours, if not days, weeks, months to really master. So it can really take a lot of time to learn to do these things properly. So if you just exercise, train, try again, you should get better at it eventually. And if you don't really know how to or what to do, then I would recommend you go to YouTube and search for either Alexandra Anelli or Vane Gus. They both do kind of tutorials, kind of explaining how to do what. So you can look at them and hopefully learn something. I will put them also in the description so you can find them. And if your makeup is bad, like if it's too cheap or too old, you should not use it. You can also get really bad results from using bad makeup. So how much makeup is too much? And this question really depends from person to person, because it's kind of a personal preference how much makeup you want to use. Some people love layers of makeup every day all the time. Others just want a little bit. You kind of have to feel out what you like the most yourself. I would recommend though not doing all these excessive makeup things every day, like the 100 layers of foundation challenges. It's both a waste for the environment, for your money, your wallet, but also just in general, like your face. I don't think it takes well to 100 layers of foundation, especially not if you do it more than once. So I would recommend to not put on that much makeup, but otherwise you can really choose yourself. What light is best when doing makeup? So this one I feel like I have thought about a lot. At some point in my life when I put on makeup, I remember I was doing it in my room, in my dark room, and then I went out to pee before I had to go out, and I looked myself in the mirror and I looked hideous. So the light can really do something. When you put on makeup, you need to make sure you have enough light so you can see what you do, what colors you put on. But what light you need to use also has something to do with where you're going. So if you're doing a photo shoot, going to film a movie, or take pictures, then you would usually need some extra makeup, because the camera doesn't really get the small details, if you get what I mean. So you kind of have to put on more for it to be visible on camera than it would in real life. So often if I put on, or when I put on makeup for the camera here, my face will be more caked on, and sometimes that it would be if I just had to go out. So my everyday makeup, I would recommend when you're doing your everyday makeup that you do it in a good natural light. It might be a really good idea when you put it on to either have natural light from outside go in on your face so you would know how it looks when you get out, or perhaps take a mirror with you outside and just look at your makeup, because it can really differ. If you do it in a dark room, then it can look completely different when you get out, and you don't want to look like a clown, I think. So it's a good idea if it's just natural makeup to watch yourself or watch how your makeup is doing, what you're doing with your makeup in natural light, at least once, preferably the whole time. What are the basic items I should buy for my everyday look? I am pretty sure I said this before, I don't really remember, it has been so long by now, but mascara and a powder is what I would normally use every day. That's kind of the only two things I really need. So those are okay for everyday use, and I would also recommend perhaps a concealer or a lip balm if you want a little bit extra. But I usually have two looks. I have this like normal everyday look, and I have my party look. I will link a link down below that you can go to for my easy day to night makeup. That's pretty much the things I'm using here for my day and night makeup look, I guess. But I will put the items up here so you can see what they are also. But for the day look, I would use a eyeshadow brushes. I would use one to apply and one to blend. A beauty sponge, concealer, face powder that I use as foundation. A natural eyeshadow palette with 3 colors, a light beige or white, a light brown and then a dark brown, a mascara and a lip balm. And that's kind of all I really use for the everyday look. Sometimes I don't even go into eyeshadow at all, so I will just go straight into perhaps just a powder and mascara, and that's kind of it. And for the party or night look, I will then use my eyeshadow brushes again, one to apply, one to blend, and then one to draw defined lines. I will use a beauty sponge, a blush, bronzer and highlighter brush, concealer, face powder as foundation again, blush, bronzer and highlighter, and then a natural eyeshadow palette with 3 colors and 1 shimmer. So the light beige or white, the light brown and then the dark brown, and then also a shimmery brown. Then I will use a mascara, a eyeliner, sometimes both a liquid and one for the waterline or the tight line, and then lastly a lipstick. So last question number 5. If I don't like to spend a lot of time on my makeup daily, what can I do to make it easier for myself? And the thing I would say makes the most impact that you can do is to go to a esthetician and get your brows and your lashes, or maybe just your lashes, colored or tinted, and then your brows, of course, get them fixed. Because that will do perhaps the most different at all. It will really help to frame your face, to get your brows done so they will look good every day. You don't have to use time on that. If you do that, that's also why in my makeup looks I often never do anything about my brows, because I get them colored or I color them myself so that they always look defined and nice, so I don't have to spend time on them. And also my lashes, I get colored once in a while. It can take your time away from having to put on your mascara. So in your daily life you don't have to put on any, and for parties you can go for a little bit of mascara or something like that. So that's kind of the two things I think make the most impact, and even just getting your lashes done can make such a big impact for the everyday look that you have. So that's the thing I feel like does the most of a difference. Of course, if you take care of your skin already, then you don't really have to think about foundation, but that also takes up time, so I guess it doesn't really count. It's not you can't just fix everything by going to an esthetician and ask them to look at your skin, but your brows and your lashes can be fixed. like that. So I also have a video about this, about coloring and tinting and correcting brows. So I will also leave that one here down below so you can see it, so you can get to it. So these were some of the questions I had the most when I started out doing makeup, and when I kept on doing makeup and new things popped up. I just got new questions like you do, and I hope I answered some of the questions that you also had or still have, so that you can go on with your happy makeup life, hopefully, and do not have to think about this again. But I would love to know what beauty questions you had when you started out, or if you still have any. I would like to know what those are. You can just tell me in the comments down below, and I would love to chat. I would love to hear what your beauty questions are. And if you like this video, I think you should give it a thumbs up. That might be a good idea. You can choose to subscribe to stay for future videos, or ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload. And I just hope you all have a happy life, one day at a time.